Hello, good morning, the students of 10th Standard English Medium, and once again, welcome back to my class of English. Today we are going to study the third poem of your textbook. As you can see on the board, A Tiger in a Zoo, which has been written by Leslie Norris. Okay, this poem has been given along with the lesson Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. Okay. So, the reason why this poem is given along with this lesson is, as you might have known in case if you have studied the second lesson, Nelson Mandela, that it explains us the importance of, freedom, and it also explains us the kind of struggle one has to face in order to gain freedom from the clutches of, any particular authorized rule. So, this poem also reflects on the similar theme, and it has used the symbol of tiger in this poem. Okay, we are going to study the poem. The entire poem is written on the board, as you can see. But let me just give you a brief introduction of the writer, the poet, before we start discussing the poetry. Okay, the writer is Leslie Norris, whose duration was from 1921 to 2006. He was a Welsh poet. Actually, Welsh is one of the smaller countries of Great Britain. Okay, we should just understand, as in terms of general knowledge, that Great Britain comprises 4 countries, namely England, Welsh, Scotland and Ireland. So he was a popular Welsh poet and a short story writer. Okay, before he started his career as writing poems and short stories, he was a professor, and even before that he was a teacher. So he was basically an educator who had taught in plenty of educational institutes across UK and in America also. Okay, and then later on in his career he has acquired a great name and fame in the field of literature, especially in the field of writing poems and short stories. Okay, so that's all about the brief introduction of the writer. Now let us come back to the discussion of the poetry in itself. As I told you, this poem explains us the importance of freedom and the kind of pain one has to go through in order to acquire the freedom. The value of freedom can be understood only by a person, or in this case an animal, who is in the clutches of the bondage, a particular bondage. Okay, here there are 2 symbols used in this poem by the poet. One symbol is tiger, okay, and another symbol is zoo. So obviously, as you all know, the meaning of zoo is it is the place where the animals are kept under observation. All sorts of basic facilities, especially habitat and food and safety and security, are being provided by the zookeepers and by the authorities. That is quite understood. And some people say that the zoos are necessary for the safety of animals. That is, up to somewhat extent, it is true also. Because the world right now has been facing the problems of, great deal of disturbance in the life chain. And what we can see right now is, over the last few years, we have seen the plenty of cases of extinction of certain species of animals and birds. Okay, so in order to save these species, some environmentalists, some animal lovers, and some people, they propagate the idea of keeping the animals in zoos. So at least they are kept in the safer zone, away from the human disturbances, human interferences, right? Because illegally there has been plenty of hunting and poaching And in case if we talk about the tiger, then obviously we have already studied in our social science subject that a special tiger project has been run by the Indian government in order to save tigers. Okay, why? Because as compared to the earlier times, we have witnessed the reduction in the number of tigers across the country. That is a problem we have been facing. So that's why zoo is one of the kind of place or a reserved place or reserved habitat for the animals to keep. Okay, so that at least their safety is ensured. So it is favored by many people. But in case if we talk about the individual freedom of the animals, then obviously it is snatched away. That's how probably the animals would feel after they are confined to a zoo. That's what the theme of this poem is. Okay, so let's try and understand stanza-wise this poem. And let's try and understand what the tiger would be feeling in his mind. Okay, especially that tiger who is confined behind the bars in a large cage. Okay, in the zoo. What's his actual condition in the span of the entire day, 24 hours? Okay, what he would be feeling inside in his mind. That's we need to understand as well. So according to the poem, a tiger who is independent is much better than the tiger who is kept in the zoo. He has explained us through this poem. Now let's try and understand it from the 5 stanzas he has written in this poem. Okay, the first stanza. He stalks in his vivid strides the few steps of his cage, on beds of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. So here is a beautiful combination of words used by the writer through which he explains the real condition of the tiger. Okay, we all might have seen the tiger who is confined in the zoo on many occasions. But that is a phenomenon we observe only for a few moments. The actual condition of the tiger who is living there on 24-hour basis for a very long time, okay, perhaps till his death, okay, then obviously it is very, very bad condition under which the tiger lives. This is the kind of condition for which he is not born to live. Let's understand the meaning of the first stanza. Okay, when he is confined in the cage, he stalks in his vivid stripes. Okay, he's like out of the outer looks, even from the distance also we can understand that the tiger has a particular pattern of stripes on his skin. Okay, which is even visible through the distance also. So, as visible from a very far distance, and he stalks over the like at the end of this poem. I will explain the meanings of the certain words. Stalks means walks swiftly. The kind of uneasiness is there in that walk. Okay, so that manner of walking the tiger has while he is walking in the cage. And swiftly stands for quickly. So with lots of uneasiness in his mind, in his heart, he walks here like up and down in the cage. The few steps of his cage, only the few steps are possible to take in the cage. Okay, because the tiger has a particularly a long step. Okay, and because of that long stride, he is only able to take a few steps in the cage. So in a few steps only, he is able to finish. Okay, from one end to the other end, and then he comes back from that end to this end. So the few steps of this cage on pads of velvet white. Okay, the heels of the tiger has a kind of velvety structure at the bottom. That's why the poet probably has used this word in his quiet rage. The last line is very, very remarkable. Although it is the shortest line, okay, but the poet explains us through this line that he has a quiet rage. Rage stands for anger. as you can see. He has a feeling of anger in his mind, but the rage or the anger he is not able to express through his behavior. Okay? In case if we are standing there and observe the tiger for a very long time, then only we would be able to understand his real mental psychological situation, that although the tiger is not able to convey what he has in his mind, but it is still understood that he has a plenty of anger which is suppressed in his mind. Let's move on to the second standard. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Now here in the second stanza, poet imagines the kind of situation in which the tiger should be kept. Okay, this is not the situation in which he should be kept, but this should be the situation, an ideal situation for the tiger, according to the writer. Let's understand. So, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, means in an open area, in the open wilderness, in the jungle. Okay, he should be freely moving, sliding through the long grass. So these words represent the kind of a free area where he can unstoppably or with full freedom, he can move around wherever he wants to go. Near the water hole where the deer pass. In case if he feels thirsty, then he does not need to ask for the permission to take from anybody to have water. Okay, but he can himself go to the water hole where he finds plenty of water for him to drink, and that's where he can go. And that's where he can also observe a plump deer, which would be a kind of a feast for him. As we know that tiger is a kind of animal, okay, who eats other animals as his food. So it might happen that in order to get some healthy feast, he would observe, in case if he's lucky, he would observe plump deer in that place itself, which he can kill and enjoy as his food. So the poet recommends that this should be the ideal condition for the tiger. This should be the situation for which the tiger is born. Okay, unfortunately it is not so, but this is the sort of imagination the poet has in his mind. Let's move on. The third standard. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. The poet further expands his notion of the sort of independence the tiger should have. Okay, apart from moving in the wilderness of the forest, he should also be snarling around the houses. Sometimes it has been observed that certain wild animals like tiger, leopard, and in some cases lions also, in case if they are not able to get food in the jungle, okay, then they are observed being roaming around in the places where the humans are residing. So probably it's on rare occasions he should be found near the houses at a particular village where the people are living. Okay, and especially that village is found in this jungle's edge, which is like means very near to the forest area. The kind of house, the kind of houses, or the society or the villages, villagers who are living very near to the jungle. So that's where probably on some occasions the tigers could be seen as well. Bearing his white fangs, occasionally he would bear. Bear means to show. The meaning of the word could be found over here. Okay, bearing means to show openly. What the poet is talking about in terms of showing, bearing his white fangs. Okay, fangs means the long, sharp teeth. Okay, occasionally he has a natural instinct of showing his dangerous, long, sharp teeth as well. Okay, terrorizing the village. So he has a kind of a look of terror on his face. Okay, he's generally regarded as a very, very dangerous animal. And that's why the poet has used these words as in case if it is, especially when it is seen in the human habitat, then obviously the people are terrified. But that's what the poet feels is the natural surroundings for the tiger to live. Moving on to the fourth stanza now. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Now over here in the fourth stanza, the poet comes back to the original situation where the tiger is kept. Okay? In spite of enjoying this kind of freedom, the poet is suddenly realizing that he is right now in this kind of a sorry situation, a sad situation for which he is not born. Okay? Unfortunately, he is locked in a concrete cell. Cell stands for a kind of cage or a jail for him. Okay, so he is locked inside there and is kept there on 24-hour basis, despite the fact that he is given all sorts of facilities like food and water. Okay, despite the fact that he is given the full security over there, but still he is finding himself in a great deal of uneasiness, in all sorts of difficulties, awkwardness in this cage. Okay, so his strength behind bars, all the strength that the tiger possesses, is a very, very strong animal. As we all know it very well, that he is a very strong animal, but the tiger which is kept in the zoo is very weak, is not in a position to show whatever strength that he would possess. Okay, so he is not at all in a position to show that strength. So his strength behind bars, stalking the length of the cage. This is the very, very common phenomenon that keeps on happening in the cage where the tiger lives. Okay, this is the only activity he has to do when he is awake. He is stalking from this end to the other end, and then from that end to this end, over and over, and that's all he could do in terms of making movements inside the cage. Right? So he keeps on stalking the length of the cage from one end to the other end, ignoring visitors. Obviously, we should understand over here that zoo is a place where so many visitors during the day would come to see the animals. But the animals, whichever animal that lives in the zoo, would not be so much fond of seeing the human beings. Okay? They are not the kind of objects to see over there. That's what they would feel probably, according to the poet. So, in case if so many visitors are coming there during the daytime, then visitors would be very, very astonished to see the tiger, but the tiger would not be so much astonished, so much fond of seeing the visitors. That's what the poet feels about the tiger. So, he would easily ignore visitors. Probably he is feeling irritated also by seeing so many visitors. As the reason why he would be feeling irritated is that, as I told you earlier, he is not the thing or a kind of an object to be watched by the visitors all the time. Okay, he is not living for that purpose. That is the reason why whichever visitors that come across in the zoo, okay, to this particular cage where the tiger is kept, the tiger would totally ignore them. Okay, so ignoring the visitors. Now the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Okay, so this is again another situation in which he lives. We need to understand that in order to ensure the safety of the animals, a certain number of staff is maintained in the zoo. Okay, and the forest officers or the other zookeepers would just keep on moving around and take frequent visit where the tiger is living in the zoo. Okay, so you would obviously be using the jeep or the car which are known as patrolling cars. So the noise of the movement of these cars could be frequently heard by the tiger. But that is again a kind of not so much, that does not hold much importance to the tiger. Okay, he keeps on hearing that noise every now and then, but probably he's not feeling so happy about that. That noise comes and goes, and it frequently happens. And it's even at night also. The patrolling cars keep on moving even at the night also, just in order to see the activities the animals are doing at night. Okay, that again is an endeavor which has been designed by the human beings to ensure the safety of the animals in the zoos, but still that is merely a kind of noise that the tiger would hear, and it would so easily ignore. So he hears the patrolling car, and that, like unconsciously or consciously, whatever, but it would just give him an idea. It would keep giving him an idea that he is merely confined in the zoo, just like an object, and then he is like observed by the people, by the staff member, okay, and the other people are kind of behaving in this way, and probably towards them also the tiger has a hidden feeling of anger towards them. So the patrolling cars stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. This happens at the night time. Okay, when the night comes, all the tiger can do, in case if he is not sleeping, then he can look at the sky. He can stare with a continuous gaze at one direction. He can stare at the stars in the open sky, and that is all he could do, nothing else. And in case if he feels sleepy, he just goes to sleep inside the cage, and that's all. He's not free to move anywhere. Okay, so this is the end of the explanation of this poem. And in case if we understand the theme of this poem in the context of the lesson, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, we have understood in that lesson that Nelson Mandela, obviously he was a human being, but still he lived in a jail, in a cell, in this kind of cage for a very, very long period of time, 28 years of his life. And then eventually he was released, and then after he became the president of, the first black president of South Africa. Okay, so the humans also can come under this kind of situation. So when we are in that situation, what we feel, we should understand the situation of the animals also. So in case if we are not so happy to live in this kind of situation, then we have no right to keep the animals also behind bars or inside the cage. The strong message given by this poet in this poem is the animals should be kept free to live in their natural habitats, in their natural surroundings, without causing any kind of disturbance or interference by the human beings. It's a very, very noble message which has been conveyed by this poet, Leslie Norris, in this poem. Okay, so with this I'm ending the discussion of this poem. The relevant notes for this poetry I will send through the Google Classroom app. Okay, stay tuned, be happy, okay, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.